All right, so area and perimeter problems, right? So if I'm looking at how I write area as a formula, it's length times width, right? And I can use a letter to represent length and a letter to represent width. We can use placeholders in formulas, or letters instead of whole words in formulas, and these letters are going to represent spaces for those numbers to go, right? So if I have, and we've done things with unknown numbers before, so if I'm looking at, and I'm only giving the information, I have the area of 35 centimeters squared, I would plug this into my formula. Okay, so here is the area. I'm going to plug in 35 centimeters squared, and that's going to equal, I know my length, so I'm going to plug that in as 7 centimeters times, and I don't know the width. Okay, so oftentimes teachers, like in a regular problem like this, they would put a question mark in there, right? But we know that that represents width, and that is what that is going to be. So how do I find this out? What is your strategy? What would you do in order to make this equation true, right? So I know, if we're thinking about our fact family triangles again, right? Multiplication and division. If I'm going this way, okay, we're dividing. If we're going this way, we're multiplying, right? And I don't know what this is. This is going to be our width here. So I can either go 35 divided by 7, and that's going to equal my width, or I can go 7 times something, right, equals 35. Either way is totally fine. Multiplying, figuring out what that's multiplied by is very easy. 7 times 5, we know that, or 35 divided by 7 is 5. So we know that the width is going to be equaled to 5, but 5 what? So I'm going to look back here at my area, and it's used centimeters cubed and centimeters. So my units I know is centimeters, so I have to make sure that I put in 5 centimeters. Moving down, oftentimes we won't have a precise rectangle. We'll have a couple different shapes of rectangles in there. So how would I start? By this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to color the shape in. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to find the area of my red shape, and then I'm going to find the area of my blue rectangle. Okay, so the area of my rectangle, my red rectangle, is going to be 3 centimeters times 2 centimeters, which is going to equal 6 centimeters squared. That's supposed to be squared. Then I'm going to find the area of my blue rectangle, okay, which is 4 centimeters times 2 centimeters, which equals 8 centimeters squared. Then I need to take these and I need to add them back together, and I need to do that because this is a whole shape that I'm trying to find the area for. So the area of my whole shape now is 6 centimeters squared plus 8 centimeters squared, which is going to equal 14 centimeters squared. So you put it all back together, right? So over here, there's my blue shape. There's my red shape. Okay, so those are my rectangles I'm trying to find my area for. So first I start with the blue. So I have, and notice I used decimeters this time. So I have 4 decimeters times 5 decimeters. And that is going to equal 20 decimeters squared. The fact that you're not so familiar with decimeters shouldn't be intimidating, right? It's still the same formula, still the same way of finding it out. Then I find for my second shape here, area is going to equal 4 decimeters times 2 decimeters, which is going to equal 8 decimeters square. Now I'm going to put my whole shape back together. To find the area is, I take from my blue shape 20 decimeters squared plus, for my red shape, 8 decimeters squared. And I add those back together, so the area for both shapes together is going to be 20 decimeters, or sorry, 28 decimeters squared. All right. But what if we are not given, what if we're not given a length? So if I'm looking at this side here, this width of that part of the rectangle, right? This is 4 centimeters, but this side says 7 centimeters. So is this for just this part, or is it for the whole thing? So yeah, it is for the whole side. So the area that I don't, or the length that I don't know, is this part right here. And how would you figure that out? So pause the video and just try to figure out how you would find the length of this side. So you would find the length of this side by taking the 7 centimeters that you know is for this entire section, right? And subtracting this part, so that we should be able to come up, we would be able to come up with, so I have 7 centimeters minus 4 centimeters, and I can come up with the length in here. So this here is going to be 3 centimeters. So now I have all the information that I need in order to be able to figure this out. So the area of this rectangle would be 5 centimeters times 3 centimeters, and that would be 15 centimeters squared. Okay, and then the area in this section would be 11 centimeters times 4 centimeters, which would equal 44 centimeters squared. Then I need to put these together, so I would go 44 centimeters squared plus my 15 centimeters squared, and the area for these two rectangles put together would be 59 centimeters squared. Okay, so I have my purple section, and I have my other section. If this is 10 meters now, and this is 11 meters, do you think this is 11 meters for the whole thing or just this part? It's the first question that I would ask myself in looking at this problem. Okay, and then my next question would be, is this 9 meters there? So is this 7 meters the whole part or just this part? Right? So looking at this, 10 meters would only represent this part, and 7 meters here, and 11 meters here, and 9 meters here. So you would be able to easily do these calculations. This would be 10 meters times 7 meters, which is 70 meters squared, and this would be 11 meters times 9 meters, which would be 99 meters squared. And I'm going to, the area of this shape would be these rectangles would be 70 meters squared plus 99 meters squared, which would equal 9 and 169 meters squared. Okay, so we need to decide, the first thing you decide is how do you want to divide up your rectangle when you're given a shape like this. Okay, so there's two choices here, really. Like you can draw a line there, or you're going to draw a line here. And will these come up with the same answer in the long run? Okay, I've also given you an unknown here, and I'm going to get you to pause the video. I'm going to get you to find out the area of both these shapes to see it, or both of these rectangles. See if this one is going to be the same as this one. So does it matter which way you divide up the rectangle? And how do I find this side? So pause. Okay, so first we're going to start, I'm just going to shade in this area here. We're going to start with this red area here. So just writing over top of the red area there, I need to figure out what the centimeters are here. And I can do that because I know that this side here plus this side here is going to equal that side. So I have 7 centimeters plus 6 centimeters is going to be 13 centimeters. So this side is going to be, 13 centimeters. So now I can multiply. I have 5 times 13 centimeters. So it's 65 centimeters squared. Okay, now I'm going to find out for my other area here. It's green. Okay, and now I have 4 centimeters times 6 centimeters equals 24 centimeters squared. And now I can put it back together, right? So I have 65 centimeters squared plus 24 centimeters squared, which is 89 centimeters squared. Now let's look here. Same thing. I have the 6 centimeters and the 7 centimeters. I'm going to add them together, and I find that it's still 13, obviously. I have 13 centimeters there. Now, did I need that? No, I didn't need that, but I found that area, that's length anyways. But when I'm multiplying these, do I need this length anymore? I don't, because I've cut that and I'm using this shape here, or these lines here. So I can go with my first shape here. Okay, I have 9 centimeters is what I'm using. So I have 9 centimeters times 6 centimeters, and that is going to be sorry, I just dropped something. Oh shoot, undo. 54 centimeters. Hopefully I'm going to change that color. 54 centimeters there, and that's squared. Okay, and now I have my happy little blue shape here, and I'm going to calculate that, which is going to be 5 and 7. So multiplied 7 centimeters by 5 centimeters, which would be 35 centimeters squared. And now we're going to figure out the area, which is 35 centimeters squared plus 54 centimeters squared. I'm just going to add them together. Double check that. Yep. So the area of that one would be 89 centimeters squared, and they still remain the same. So it doesn't matter how you divide those rectangles.